Hi, Joe Diomede here in Portland, which is a little island off the south of Weymouth. And I'm speaking to my friend Simon. And Simon has started his own record label 20 years ago called Pink Hedgehog. Is that correct?
Yeah, I suppose it'd be about 23, coming up 24 years ago now. Next year will be the 25th, big celebration.
Wow. And what prompted you to start your own record label? I know you're a musician and you have some of your own CDs, but why start your own record label?
Uh, I think it's because when I moved back to England, because I've been living in Germany throughout my teens, and I just thought the local music scene around Weymouth was amazing. And I became such a huge fan of the local scene and started going to all the gigs and supporting all the bands. A lot of them didn't have anything to buy at gigs. I thought I wanted, back then it was cassettes. I thought I want to buy a tape to take home with me. So I got this old 8 track. It was like an old analog thing, and I started offering myself free to bands to record them, largely so that I could record the songs that I loved and then have them at home to listen to. So I started a few of the local bands, like the bit of Little Side Rapples was an early band that I worked with, and basically that was it. That's what started it. We book a rehearsal room or sometimes even a skittle alley at the back of a pub. I'd turn up, record them playing their songs, and then get maybe 50, 100 tapes made of it, and the band would sell them at gigs. And that's how it started. I think we did about 20 or so releases like that. And then in about 1996, I got quite poorly and I wasn't able to gig myself anymore. So I decided to take the label a little bit more seriously. Not too seriously, but a little bit more than I had done. And that's when we released our first CD, which was like a compilation for a charity that I was supporting at the time. And it went from there. And then I suppose it wasn't until I temporarily moved to Bristol, sort of at around 99, 2000. And that was the first release was a band called Cheese, Marco Rossi's band. And that was the first release where it was a national release. It wasn't a local thing. I had a distribution deal. We had reviews in the glossy music magazines. That was the first release I would say was, beyond local. It was a proper, I felt like a real record label at that point.
Wow. And was the record label called Pink Hedgehog at the
Yeah,
time?
it was. Oh, if I'd known it was going to be around for like 25 years, I'd have put more thought into it, because it was at the time it was just for the first cassette, and I was playing in a pub in one of the back streets in Weymouth, and I said, "Well, we've got to have a name for this label," and the landlord of the pub, he had a dog called Spliff, and he used to play with this little pink hedgehog chew toy.
Okay.
And me and the friend I was playing with at the time said, "There you go. What about a pink hedgehog?" And it's kind of stuck. And I suppose if nothing else, it's it's a bit of fun. Doesn't We don't take it too seriously, but it's good for visualizing when people want to know the name of it and they want to perhaps Google it or go to the website. I said just visualize a hedgehog, then color in pink, and then .com.
Yeah.
And it seems to work.
Yeah, excellent. It definitely works well because it's just I have a vision. I can see your logo, because I get it in your newsletter.
Go.
And so now you're international because you did sign on bands from California, and you were national for a while. You went from CDs and you're pressing vinyl. Now you're back. You started with cassettes and now you're back doing vinyl.
And perhaps even back to cassettes again, because they're having a bit of a renaissance as well.
Okay.
But to give you an idea, obviously CD sales sort of dipped and downloading took over.
Mm-hmm.
Then downloading dipped, plummeted, and because streaming kind of became dominant. But for the first time this last year, we've sold more vinyl than CDs.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I love vinyl.
Yeah. Yeah. So that gives you an idea of the way the industry, even at sort of my level, the small independent level, has changed, and it's good because it's balancing out the streaming that's kind of largely taken over. It's nice to know that something like vinyl is sort of in some way balancing out with the physical format, and we're sort of reconnecting with the bit of romance, more romance, I think, with vinyl than obviously a largely invisible digital sort of way of listening to music.
For sure, and we need it. I mean, I love the tactileness of vinyl. It brings back so many memories.
Yeah.
So we have vinyl, and you're in Wilson, the band, and you have so a little self-interest.
The band Wilson.
I'm sorry, the band Wilson. Yes, and so you have some interest in having your own record label because, like you said, you were poorly for a while.
Yeah.
You stopped playing. You're playing again.
Yep.
So all in all, your voyage as a self-made record label man, what would you say? How's it been as a voyage?
I would say it's been largely therapeutic because even music that I do, and I'm sure people like Steve would agree, let's face it, we don't do it to make money, fortunately. But from a songwriting and musician point of view, I find that very therapeutic. In fact, my last 3 albums that I did, I like to call a therapeutic trilogy because they were that's how it felt to me. But the label was giving me a constant, something to do that I enjoy, that I'm excited about, and that I can feel that I'm involved with music even during those times that perhaps I wasn't able to go out there and do the gigs and in the more conventional sense. I've always had the music's always been a constant presence, and I think that has some, well, great value, if not financially.
Well, there we have it. Just fulfilling a dream once again. Here we are with this series and talking about positivity and following your dream and just not letting anything get in the way. Simon started his own record label, musician, and here he is still today, nearly 25 years later, with that record label. Thank you, Simon. I really enjoyed that story.
Thanks very much, Joe.
Okay. Well, Joe Diomede, Telly Monbrun. We'll see you again.